Good evening and welcome to the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the Poetry of Justice show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying,
YikesRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the sultry sounds of my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. And I always give a very special shout out to Mr. Nash because he is the owner of this proprietorship here at Accelerated Radio. And I like to always give him homage and respect for what he does, because if it were not for his brainchild here at the station, it would be impossible for me to do what I love to do here on Saturday nights, which is just come and have a great time here in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. So I like to just give a special shout out to him. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give a very special shout out to our sponsorship. That's Miss Lori G, the benefactor. How are you doing tonight, Lori G? Oh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well.
That's
Very well.
good. You having a good one?
I am. I've been gone. I'm glad to be back. Something's going on with my mic right here.
It is.
But I think we're better now. So glad to be back. I missed y'all last week.
I know. We miss you too.
Definitely.
Awesome sauce. So thank you for coming back with us this week, beautiful lady. And I just wanted to take some time to give some shout outs to some of our sponsorships, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start out talking about G Baby. Oh my goodness. Lori G, the benefactor. How you doing, Lori G? Did I say benefactor?
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Getting old, guys. I just wanted to make sure, I'm multitasking. But I still got to do some tags on that too, Rashid. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I also like to give a very special shout out to G Baby's Catering LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give a very special shout out to our chef Mac. And he is most notably on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. And so you can check him out there. Again, Macarios, I want you to go ahead and check him out. That's my nephew, ladies and gentlemen. And then I like to go ahead and give some very special shout outs to inside our studio. I give a lot of love and respect to our amazing engineer, Rashid. And how are you doing tonight, Mr. Rashid?
Oh, I'm just doing just fine, just getting everything set up and under control.
I know we're having a good time. So we're going to have a great time here on the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. We have some amazing guests in the studio tonight. I'm very honored. My sister and I are very blessed to have a very special gentleman. I want to just take a little bit of time to say what this gentleman means to us here at the Poetry of Justice show. We had an opportunity to have him here once before, but it was in such an abbreviated, quick fashion, in my opinion, because we had a panel of individuals and we just didn't get enough airtime or enough time to talk about some things, in my opinion. So I just want to welcome what I was told earlier in the week, ladies and gentlemen, once the advertisement went live. And I got a special note to me, emailed to me through our YouTube channel. And someone said to me, I got to get her name. And she says, I heard that you were going to have the one and the only Juan Gabriel Reynoso on the Poetry of Justice show. And I'm like, oh my God, look at that. I'm like totally trying to get some dinner. I was getting some pizza. And I'm like, oh my God. I was trying to get some pizza a little bit. And there we go. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even eat tonight, guys. So then by the time I get home, I said, okay, when I get home, I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to respond. And then when I wake up the next morning, then there were some more messages wanting to know. It's like, oh, he's coming. I said, Lori Ray.
And don't forget the publication on the Compton High.
I know, that was a big
alumni site. That was
a
big
huge
deal.
That was epic, wasn't it?
It was.
How are you doing tonight? And then there's a couple names because, Laura, I think you should tell the story about how we are going to be addressing this amazing gentleman tonight. So how many different names did he tell us pre-show, Lolo?
Oh, my goodness, you guys. We have Juan, or we have Rambo,
I like Rambo,
or we have Ray, or we have just old Reynoso.
I'm super
I think we'll kind
excited.
of take turns using each one of those through the evening.
It's not what people call you, it's what you answer to.
Okay, I like that. I can do that. But thank you so much for being in the studio tonight. How are you tonight, sir?
I am very, very well. Thank you for inviting me. Ray,
when kids are too lazy to say Reynoso, they just say Ray, and it sounds cool. And I'm also a little story behind that. I don't have a biological big brother. I'm the oldest male, so the person who mentored me through life and is still mentoring me through life, his name is Ray, R-A-Y. And when the kids started calling me Ray, I felt very, very honored. Reynoso, some are very formal. Mr. Reynoso, the ones that are real close to me call me Ray, and of course there's Rambo from growing up in Compton.
Okay, now you got to tell us the story behind Rambo, because I got that story too when the ad went live. Someone said, "Oh my God, it was an ex-football player from the city of Compton, from Compton College." Oh, you gonna have Rambo on the show? I'm like, what the heck? Look at you.
I was you get when you get punished in football. And they make you do what they call up downs. We call them Dallases back then. I don't know what they call them up downs. I was being punished and I don't know why. and the coach like, are you, something like, did you learn your are you gonna? And I'm like, what did I do? Mm-hmm. And you're outside and you're tired and you're yelling, I didn't do anything, and everybody started laughing because that's what the character Rambo said in the movie First Blood. I didn't do anything. And my hair was long, and that many years ago, my hair was long, and
Was this in high school football? Or was this at Compton College?
High school football.
Okay.
It didn't take off till I got to college.
Okay.
At Compton College, when a teammate from high school was there. He said, Rambo, and they started calling me Rambo. And I kept it as my stage name for a while, but then my manager at the time was like, nah. And even the shout out to Paul Michael Glazer, who played originally Starsky.
Yes, sir.
He directed the first film I was in, Kazam. And he hated the name Rambo. So he said, change it. You have a good, cool name, Juan Gabriel Reynoso. I said, all right, I'll change it.
How did you get into acting, if you don't mind sharing?
I've acted since kindergarten. I remember I was an extra in a play.
Really? Tell us about that.
And it was just fun. It's always been just what you would call a real passion, just for fun. My thing was camera work. 12 years old when I, as a kid, you're jumping off of roofs. You go around collecting mattresses and you stack them up and you jump off the roofs and do flips and everything. So I wanted to be a stunt man. And then right around that time, the TV show, if you remember, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors. We have a very young man and our engineer probably does not know what we're talking about. But because of that, I wanted to be a stunt man. Because of The Fall Guy. But I've always been acting. I've always did plays. I remember at Birch Elementary School. Shout out to everybody from Birch Elementary
Remember
School.
Mommy worked there for a little while?
I did plays. I was in the chorus, and I got to Enterprise Middle School, or back then junior high school. I was in the band. I was always performing.
Did you ever participate in the Compton Boys Choir?
No, the thing about I made the Compton Boys Choir, but it was too far to go, and my dad wouldn't take me.
Okay, for the rehearsal.
So I was never able to go.
Over in Tamarind.
And
Remember that?
I couldn't find Tamarind one time. I didn't know that's what the district.
Where the district office is.
I didn't know where Tamarind was. I was what, third grade?
Yeah.
But I made the boys choir. I just didn't go.
That's so cool.
And I did plays at Enterprise, but my thing was always when I was 12 years old in the 7th grade when they put a camera in my hand. And I always tell the kids it changed my life forever. From that point on, I wanted to be a cameraman.
Really?
I wanted to learn everything about cameras. At the same time, my sister was in a play. They did West Side Story at school, and she played Maria.
Oh wow!
One of the teachers on campus at Enterprise was taking a television productions class at Cal State Dominguez, and as part of his project, I guess he wanted to go shoot the final scene for his project for his class. So he took the cast, and of course, being Mexican, my dad wasn't going to let my sister go by herself anywhere. So I went with her, and as fate would have it, I sat there and looked at all these big studio cameras and. I went in the control room and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And that basically sealed it and said, that's what I want to do. And when, I was in 7th grade, the librarian was in charge of the cameras, and very very shout out to Miss Howard, the librarian at the time. You're not allowed to do cameras until the 9th grade, so I was like, oh, what can I wanted to do it, so I make a deal with you, come in and clean up, tidy up the library, and when there's an event, I'll tell the guys to let you be a part of it.
Right.
And I started.
How cool
I
is
started.
that?
Then there was a weekend program, a UCLA extension program on Saturday mornings, and I had, my dad wasn't going to take me in the morning on Saturday, so I took the bus all the way to SCROC. I don't know if you know where Southern California Regional Occupational Center is on Crenshaw and Sepulveda.
Oh.
So
Pretty far out there for a
every
little
Saturday
kid.
morning I was over there with college students.
Wow.
And you're in the 7th grade.
I was in the 7th grade, and just started learning with them, and I just loved it. I started being in the industry since then. I was working. People think, oh, you work. People always think you work for a studio. No, you're everybody's freelance most of the time. So I was working for whoever would. I'll pull cable. I'll sweep the studio if you need me to, but I want to be there. I just want to be there.
Right.
So that was that. I wanted to be a cameraman. Right out of high school, I got a job at LA County Fire Department as a cameraman. Yeah, believe it or not.
How does that mix? Right.
I would respond. I had a red car. With the lights and everything.
How cool is that?
And the latest
The fire
equipment.
department had cameras.
Yeah, LA County. Yeah, we had a video unit. I don't know if it still exists.
Wow.
But for a while, I was running the video unit at LA County Fire Department. Wow. And I remember the biggest incident was at that time in 1988, or Universal Studios caught fire.
I don't remember
Big old
that.
fire.
What?
And I was
think
up
I
on a
remember
helicopter.
that.
I was hanging out of helicopters. I was hanging out
Oh
of
my
helicopters.
gosh. You was really being Rambo.
Oh, well, I mean, back then they didn't have the camera on the belly
Oh
of the
my
helicopter.
gosh.
Back then they didn't have it. So I was hanging out of the helicopter with a camera in my
Oh
shoulder.
my goodness. Filming, getting the
wow.
perfect shot.
That was fun. That was fun. But at the same time, I'm in college at that time. I would go rehearse for plays over at Compton College because I love acting. I'd be in the theater rehearsing plays.
Yeah.
There was an agent in the audience one time, and he said, "I want to represent you." So, like I tell everyone, once I make my mind that I'm going to do something, I just do it. So I went full throttle with acting, and got the headshots. And believe it or not, my first audition was Kazam, and I got the part.
Okay. How cool. How cool is that?
And until recently, I never auditioned for anything else. Every role I got was word of mouth. The casting director for Kazam casted Volcano, so she called me and said, "Hey, come, I got a role for you." So okay, and that was cool. That was all.
So you just kind of go with your instincts. If you
I
will?
do what I love to do. When I die, it'll be doing what I love to do.
Got it.
If I die in the classroom, he loved teaching. If I die on a wave, a shark eats me up, he loves surfing. He loved boogie boarding. If I ride a motorcycle. It's the life I chose. If I die on the bike, I love riding my motorcycle.
Have you ever had a fender bender on your bike?
I don't want to talk about it. My mother might be listening.
We have never had any
I am not
problems. You
aware
have
of
had
such
a
incidents
healthy
that occurred, nor would I
bike
be at
riding
liberty to
time.
discuss if
Absolutely.
such incident actually.
You love your Harleys?
I learned from KRS-One, from Boogie Down Productions, that's who raised me through college.
Wow.
I shout out to Boogie Down Productions and Public Enemy and Heavy D, all those guys who got us through college, most of us. I learned the song Love's Gonna Get You is that don't fall in love with a material object. I love riding my motorcycle. I like my motorcycle. I don't love it. I love people.
Yeah. Just have
And I mean, I love riding the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's a nice
Yeah.
outlet. Now have you
But I'm sorry.
been cast where you've ridden any Harleys in any of the films that you've done?
No, and it's funny. I auditioned for the show Mayans, but it wasn't for a biker. which was funny. But I didn't get the part. It was a person who was supposed to be afraid, and I told do you think I look like I'll be afraid of anyone? And it was funny during
Not
the
working
audition.
through that believability.
Yeah, the audition, the guy said something, and in character, I looked at him like, "Don't talk to me like that." And the casting director loved it. She loved it, but it wasn't
What the director was looking for.
Well, it wasn't what they're looking for, and when I saw the episode, it was a small man. A smaller person, a shop owner who would be. That was very believable. Even the person that was cast, I would never cast me as someone who'd be afraid unless it'll be God in front of me or a dinosaur, and even then I probably want to fight the dinosaur.
How does screenwriting become? How do you feel about screenwriting?
I love I'm working on some things, and I tell my students screenwriting is a life thing. It's not something you just do. I've been working on some plays. Some of them are 10 years. I've been writing them for 10 years, and you rewrite this, you rewrite that. Because as long as you're alive and you're living and you're experiencing, sometimes you go back and change things.
Right.
And I tell the kids, when you have writer's block, and anyone who's out there listening, if you've never heard it, if you have writer's block,
can you describe that?
Writer's block is when you run out of ideas in your writing.
Okay.
It happens to editors, those of you who edit video. How am I going to get out of this scene?
Okay.
I can't think of anything else. And I always tell a couple of things that I would do. I go back one scene and I read all the way to that point. And sometimes that helps. If nothing works, just stop typing, save your work, and walk away.
Okay.
Walk away and go live.
Do you look for a time period? Do you say, okay, I'm going to live for 2 days. I'm going to live for 2 hours. When do you know
until
to
it comes
come
back. Until it comes back. Sometimes, with me, I'm a grown man. I could be at a sports bar sitting there having a beer, and you never stop thinking about what you're writing. You never stop thinking about your passions. You never stop. So even though you may not be sitting there, okay, what am I going to do? That's going to make it worse. You just go live, and in the midst of all of that, something will hit you and go, I got it.
Eureka.
I got it. Either you say, let me go back, or you just hold on to it. Let me take a note, a mental note. I've gotten in the habit of talking into my phone and recording now.
Yes.
That's what back in the day we would have a notepad.
Right. Yes,
songwriters do it. Oh, that's a good line. Let me write it down, and they'll put it in a song somewhere. I do that. I have scenes that I've written that are for no movie.
Okay.
And sometimes that'll fit in. I'll go, ooh, I'm gonna put this scene over here now. It fit this storyline, And again, once you go out and live, because that's what writing is about. You're writing about life experiences, and the more you experience, the more people you meet, the more. I don't want to say things you get into, but life is life. Life happens, and the more you're paying attention to life. I like going to a bar and just staring at people. Not staring like creepy. I just watch people and watch.
Okay, now look, I'm not gonna see you on a Netflix.
No, not like that. Don't
doc
think
you.
that. I don't do that. I don't stare like that. But just watch people.
No, people watch. I feel what you're saying. Yeah.
And when you're acting, you're not pretending. And that's one thing that scares people. With the form of acting that I was taught over at Compton College is it's reality-based acting, to where you're no longer acting. You're in that
role.
You're in that particular moment. You are that particular person. You are surrounded by those particular persons in real life, and you're no longer acting. You didn't come from backstage. You came from wherever the story says you were coming from, either from work, and you're in that world. And a lot of people can't either relate or can't handle that reality, because now I have to deal with things that I'm going through. And unfortunately, people that would go there would run and hide. Now and at first it sounds weird or crazy, but it works out when I'm acting. I'm in a scene over in Hollywood in a class or something, because I do still take classes. And they say cut. and the person I'm acting with usually will look forward and go, "Hey, where did you study?" And I go, "Compton."
All right. Hey,
Compton.
It's the city I'm from.
The city of Compton. And I go, Compton College.
Where you from, fool?
Compton College. And you know, really, well, unfortunately, I studied under Dr. Van Neal. He passed away several years ago. And but one of the greatest acting teachers I've ever met. And again, it's that reality-based acting. I don't know if he finished his book, but he was writing a book about that, and I hope we get it published somewhere, somebody. But it's funny, all his top students ended up being teachers.
Really?
Yeah, we were at his funeral, like, wow, we're all teachers.
How did you get that as the career? How does education?
That was I don't want to say a goof. I never thought about being a teacher ever. I mean, you ask anybody. I was silly, but I didn't disrupt a class. You ask anyone who knows me from high school. They gave that mofo a classroom full of kids. Oh my God! But everybody starts to. People understand in the community what I do. And I feel the love and the respect from the adults in my motorcycle club. Is so I talk about community all the time, and especially the Compton community, which is no different from any other community. Brooklyn, Watts, when you have people that love their city or their community, you stay there.
Absolutely.
You stay there, and your family is there. And I've had. Club brothers, we call ourselves brothers. We don't say club brothers. My brothers are like, their nephews are my students. And if people talking about, getting to raise these kids the right way, well, it takes a village, and the village is the community. Yes, and I remember one incident when I first started teaching, kid was fighting in the hallway. I go out there and I'm trying to calm him down, and he's riled up, and he wants to fight me. And I'm like, I'm trying to make sure you don't get in trouble. Just I'm trying to stop him. And it's over. Everything is over. He's still mad. Turns out his uncle is my club brother. And he finds out, and they dealt with him. And he goes, yeah, he's not going to bother you no more, and let me know if he doesn't come and apologize. And he does. He comes over.
Poor thing.
And of course, I go, when I first started teaching, I didn't tell nobody, hey, I'm Rambo, I'm Mr. Reynoso. I'm all formal there, and the kid walks over. He comes over like a week later. Goes, I want to apologize, my uncle. I said, oh, okay, man, it's all love, man. Thank you. Then he walks over and goes, Rambo. It's like, oh Lord. And I said, okay, I guess I'll start riding. Start riding my motorcycle to school, and I do now. I ride my motorcycle, and I consider myself one of the coolest
You like
teachers.
riding bike to school, huh? I bet that is so much fun. Huh?
Who rides a motorcycle?
Where is C High right
to
now,
work?
though? Where are we at? Where's we at? Where we at?
Where
we
is
at?
Compton High? Where did they go to school?
We are at Roosevelt Middle School campus.
Okay.
Roosevelt Middle School, I guess, does not exist. The kids, they held them back at the elementary school and turned those into K through 8.
What elementary school? All of the feeder
all the
elementary.
feeder schools
So now
that
it's
were
K
going
through
to
8.
Roosevelt are now K through 8.
Okay.
The kids that were there when we first started moving over there, they graduated them out. They promoted them out. So when we got there, it was 6th, 7th, 8th. And then the following year was only 7th, 8th. And the next year was just 8th. And then they graduated. And then we were there full time. And then they tore down the school.
And so what's the projected timeline for the new
I have
school?
no idea. I will not comment on things that are above my pay rate.
Right.
I do not know. My pay grade does not allow me to know those things. I just know that the framing is up.
Wow.
If you drive down Alondra at Acacia, you'll see the framing to one of the buildings is up.
I bet that's so cool. Huh?
Big metal framing. And I don't know if people are I know people were taking pictures or video with their drones at night going through the buildings before they tore them down. So if you look for them on YouTube, you'll probably be able to find some videos. But I don't know about what's going to happen. They say 2025.
Really?
So we're almost
You
there.
excited?
I don't know.
I know.
We're teaching.
You're right, yeah,
We're
you
teaching.
doing you, you doing
And I tell the
you.
kids, it doesn't matter
They
where
didn't
we
show
are. We're
That's
the
still
gonna be
Compton
really
High.
cool, though. That's gonna be
They
really.
didn't show the faculty like plans or what the building would
Well,
look
my
like,
kids were
or-
included in the planning. They want the architects wanted to hear from the kids.
See,
So the
awesome.
administrators like, hey, we want your kids. They're very active. The crew, we call it the crew. The crew is very active on campus. We want the kids to be a part of it. And my kids were like, we're here for video productions.
Okay.
So everywhere we go, we have to haul all these cables. Can you wire the whole school for us to just
Got
show up
it.
to the stadium and just
Big
plug
boom.
the camera? And they're like, oh, they were taking notes. So hopefully they do that. Hopefully
so
they do
cool.
that. But you
I
know,
can imagine because it's a performing arts school now, right?
well, I mean, I think it's always been a performing arts school. We had a theater, and I mean, everyone's saying yes because the money that Dr. Dre gave.
Right.
Right.
So I don't.
I just thought that was his directive.
Well, that portion of the school will be. I don't think the whole school will be performing art.
Right.
No, I mean, you know how like you have STEM programs or
Right.
you have a school
I think they're going to have all of that.
that they're.
I mean, I
their
hope they
focus
have
is
everything for
more-
everyone.
Yeah.
You know, so we are not have not been included in the planning since then. But I can't wait. I can't wait. The kids deserve it. The community deserves it. A new school. I don't want to. The whole controversy behind the A building being torn down and all that. I don't. I don't want to talk about.
I didn't know about.
I
so
didn't
we
know
have to
about the
talk about it.
controversy. What
It's
was the
torn down.
controversy?
Well, people are like, well,
The
it's a
administration
national.
gonna-
It's
oh,
a
I got it.
historical
I got
landmark
it. I
and
got
all
it.
that.
I got it.
So I don't know if it was, but I didn't see anyone fighting for it. I can't fight for things like that. I'm an employee.
Just to leave like some sort of semblance of.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's just which I have memories.
yeah,
I do too.
and I've been
I
showing
can
the
think that
kids.
never can be taken
you
away.
can't-
Yeah,
like-
and I've been showing the kids pictures of what it used to look, and they're like,
yeah.
"Wow," you know, because some kids never saw it.
True.
Remember,
It would have
it-
been kind of cool though.
I know.
Yeah.
if they could have renovated that building
and made it.
because it had a hell of a theater.
yes, it did. The
That
theater
auditorium was
now. I'm gonna
amazing.
tell you about that
Auditorium,
building as far as
so-
technology is concerned. The walls were
used to
so thick.
love that.
Wi-Fi was not.
Yeah.
It wasn't the
productive
half.
in there.
I bet not. Huh?
Wi-Fi was not productive.
There's some thick ass walls. You for
Oh,
real,
they're
for real.
about 3 feet thick. The exterior walls.
I used to love to go in the morning. Okay, yeah, 11th grade. And then we go through the front, and you just feel good. Okay, guys, let me tell the story. I used to pretend I used to watch Grease when we was little kids, and I think we was in the 6th grade. And Cynthia, remember Lori took us to see Grease, and I was like, oh my god, I used to be like, oh, I want to be a pink lady. I just couldn't wait to get to high school.
lady.
I want to be a pink lady. We're gonna rule the school. Y'all remember that? Anywho,
Pink Ladies was Women's Federation.
exactly.
Exactly.
And so you're walking into the school. It's nothing like going up that administration, going
Oh,
up them
my
stairs.
God, yes.
First thing in the morning, that long walk. Daddy let you out the car, and you go up them stairs. And then we used to go in the cut, the cheerleaders, and then we go up, and then now you're on the first floor, and then we go all the way down, and then we walk up the stairs and go up to the 3rd floor and just kick it in the stairwell, and then look at the peons out the window.
Out the
And look
window.
at them.
You were a pink lady.
That used to be so much fun. Oh my! I used to love the administration, but you're right. Them walls, like, woo.
They're very
Yeah.
thick. And I mean, and we'll see what happens. Whatever it is, it's going to be a new school.
It's cool.
I just want the stadium to be big enough to handle our homecoming games. I mean, the last time we had the first big homecoming, it was Poly against Compton. It was 15,000 people there.
Ain't that
and
something?
everybody didn't fit. So
Needless to say, because they cut the stadium down.
Very-
Remember from
yeah,
when we
way
were
back, way
kids
back, yeah.
growing up? It was huge.
I
when we
tell the
was
kids it
kids.
used to be way bigger than that. They're like, really? Like, oh yeah, it was a stadium.
Yeah, like
It
duh.
was a stadium.
It was a stadium.
That was a stadium for us. I used to love that. Man,
Yeah.
it's nothing
But I
like.
think Compton High used to be Compton College.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
the
Before
college.
Compton College was built.
Yes, it's
Yes.
a beautiful campus. It's going to be interesting, but to get some nice new state of the art things for the city, this is going to be
Yeah,
exciting.
the community deserves it. The students
do.
deserve a new campus.
Yes,
the
sir.
city deserves a new campus. It'll be good and it's also coming out all the way to Alondra. So
Awesome.
it won't be no longer in
Little
the cut.
Cocoa Street.
No more Cocoa Street. The campus is coming all the way to Alondra. So if you're driving, you're going to see it from Alondra.
Boom.
Right there. Yeah.
Wow. So they took over that housing that was
Those
right
houses
there.
are
They're
no longer there.
They're
They're no longer there.
Oh, wow.
They're no longer there.
There was
So-
a bit of quaintness about Cocoa Street.
I used to love to go on Cocoa. Remember
That's
that's when we
where
used to line up. We used
you
to line up.
line
Like,
up.
oh, Cocoa, the
Cheerleaders.
buses, you get
man.
ready. You're like,
Yeah,
your
get
heart
ready,
beating,
hyped
the
up.
drums, whoop, 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 and your heart. Doop, doop,
Yeah.
doop, 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 doop.
Or Oleander. I don't know if that's going to still be there.
Talk about Oleander.
But we used to line up from when I was in the band. We used to line up from Cocoa all the way to Myrrh.
Absolutely.
And the kids like, really? Yeah, we had 150 band
Yeah.
members back
Yeah, we
then.
wasn't messing
And
around.
all of the
attached
Attached
units.
units,
We
everything.
got to get Miss Street up in here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
We gotta
she's
get Elevie
been
Street.
on campus. She's been on, and I introduced her to all my students as my girlfriend. So she's like,
She
stop.
still looks the same
Oh my
age
God.
she did in
Oh
high
my
school.
God.
I swear to God.
Is
I mean, she doesn't age. She's timeless.
She is amazing.
and she's been subbing on campus, and she's coaching the cheer.
Of course.
not the cheer, the dance, the drill team.
course.
She's been coaching them. So
Yay.
she's back.
That's
She's
good.
back.
She's back.
Shout out to Miss Ellery Street.
Yeah, we got to get her up in
Absolutely.
here, Lolo. We
Yeah.
got to see her about a month or so ago at the services. It
Yeah.
was a
Mm.
homegoing
Months ago.
service of one of our family friends, but then later on, I was like, Lolo, we gotta get her in here because I was just sitting here just thinking. How many stories are there out there? I just have like my little story, like watching my sister. She, back then it was like ninth grade, for middle school was like 7, 8, 9. And then Compton High was 10, 11, 12. So I remember when Lori was in the ninth grade, which made me in the sixth grade, she tried out for the Compton High attached units. And I remember watching her trying out and making her dance routines and her friends and getting ready to go. And then she made it. And she got to Compton High, and now she's in the 10th grade, and she was a drill team, and I used to get to go to the games and watch her. And one of the biggest things I always wanted to be, guys, and I mean to tell you, I'm an old chick now. It's not, and I'm going to be 100. I think that was like the onlyest one thing thus far that I really wanted. Remember how you kind of was talking? I wanted that Lori Ray, I think more than anything to this day that I've ever wanted other than was trying to get daddy back was to be a Compton High School cheerleader.
At that time, I was at Enterprise, we were the only junior high school band in the district. We could hear the drums all the way to Enterprise. So after we had band practice, we would run down Compton Boulevard to go watch band practice at Compton High. And, we're little elementary. These big guys with the drums and oh man,
You got to get John T in here, Lord. You got to
T.
get Deb. You got to get him
I
in here.
want to
Lord.
be in the band.
Rennie Lewis.
You got to get him in here.
Compton
Lord.
High Band.
It was nothing like that, man. And I'm just meaning like
There was a
summertime
strong sense of
and during
pride,
Hell
though.
Week. The whole entire community would be out watching us practice.
Yep.
They know that first game is coming. We finna play Linwood. We gonna beat the Knights, right? You gonna beat the Knights, and you just can't wait. But I remember Lloyd Hell. We remember that in the evening. I remember
Oh,
coming as a little
yeah.
kid watching
Yeah.
you. It's like the whole kid. It was like a football game. It's like the whole
was.
community is out watching it. The first football game is coming up. Everybody want to see the game. The whole community watching the attack units doing it, and then you going around the track, and you just my knees is jacked up to this day, y'all. I'm telling
Right.
you, and I know it's that Compton High
My
School.
knee and my hip.
That red dirt on that
red
track,
dirt.
just slamming down
Yeah.
into the splits and woo woo. Oh my God, I don't even. Anyway,
Oh,
it was a good time.
I mean, when the parade, the Christmas parade,
That was a big deal.
would basically end when we came by. Forget Santa. People didn't wait for Santa. They followed us all the way back to Compton High, and we would still do about another 45 minutes on the football field.
Yeah.
Hey, do that number again. Back then we had TBF, the new kids. They still do the same steps. We wrote it in the 10th grade, Tar Babe Fever, and it had steps and everything. And the first time we let it loose in the parade,
Oh my gosh.
everybody lost their mind. They just followed us, waiting for us to do it again. And like we could hear Santa way back there. And we apologize to any band that was behind us because
You already know.
no one saw them.
Yeah, that big C come right there.
Oh, yeah.
And you talking about formation.
Oh,
man,
man.
them lines was tough, man. You on. You never
And-
off. Always on.
And I was the only Mexican kid in the band at the time. So like, oh, look at that.
I know he's looking at it.
It was very rare. That's when girls thought I was cute.
Silly one.
That's why I stayed in music.
But then you started with football too, so you've done a lot.
That was an accident also. I never thought about playing football. It was PE, and I played soccer all my life. You know, I'm Mexican, and they were doing field goals, and it couldn't be that hard. Kick the ball, and I kicked it through it was like a 40-yard field goal, and they took me to Coach Seymour, rest in peace.
I know, Gabriel.
And he was coaching at the
Coach
time.
Seymour.
He said, "Coach, he can kick a field goal." I was like, "Oh, well, I guess you gonna be there. I guess this cat
Hear it right now.
this cat's gonna be at practice today."
So he
And
waterboarded
I
you.
joined the football team,
I love it.
and that was I joined the football team. Everything, I don't know. I guess everything's happened by accident.
No, it was by fate.
Fate.
It was fate.
Yeah, I know.
Sent you there. Alignment, synchronicity.
And I always say, the cameras changed my life. Football saved my life. Saved my life. Coach Woods, if he's listening, I love you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Woods saved my life.
From the street you talking about?
Everything. I mean, I grew up in first generation. I'm not Mexican American. I'm Mexican. I was born in Mexico, so statistically, I wasn't supposed to go to college. Maybe my great grandkids were supposed to go to college. So we weren't raised to, the whole college thing.
Okay.
Or, he's in school, but I get, the culture is as soon as you graduate, you're going to work. You're going to join the workforce.
Okay.
And, I get to, and I always say I was born in Compton, but I wasn't. But that's when I woke up. If shout out to whoever thinks they created the word woke.
Right.
I was in school in Carson, and I remember I wasn't being taught anything. And when I got to Birch, I remember the teachers were, black women who basically told me, no one's going to give you anything. You have to earn it. You have to take it. You have to work hard. And from there it just grew. And I remember Coach Woods said one day, you don't have any choice but to go to school. If you don't, you're going to starve to death. Not in those words. He said it as a football coach, but it resonated. It scared me.
Right.
Because I love to eat. You're going to starve to death. And, and from there it's like, okay, I'm going to college. I'm going to college, Unfortunately, at the same time, I'm 10th grade, and this is where we get into our people, raising our people.
Okay.
There was a person, one of my counselors was not of that community, and I remember I had been doing video all through junior high school, and she, I'm in her office, and she basically told me, I gotta be honest with you, you're not gonna amount to anything, so you might as well join the military. I suggest you join the Marines. And all through this, I'm like, what? Do you even know me, lady?
Right.
Not once has she spoken to me about what I did before. To me, I was already, even at Compton, we found some cameras, some dusty old cameras. If you know Mad Mike from the TV show Pimp My Ride, we were in school together. He was already a senior or junior or senior, so we were rocking and rolling, and she didn't even know about that, but she just knew that I was not going to do anything but to join the military. And I'm like, I didn't, good thing I didn't listen to her, but it did stick to go, I'm gonna,
In the back of your mind.
and then you got people calling me Rambo. Like, okay, I'm going to the Marines. And I thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought I was, but no disrespect to the military. I respect the military a lot, but it wasn't going to be for me. No. And I went to college and never thought about being a teacher. The acting thing put me in positions where my classmates were teaching it in the district, because again, we go back to our community, we give back to our community. Everybody got teaching jobs, and they would show the movies to the kids. They go, yeah, that's my friend. You know, of course, the kid, nah, he's not. So like, oh, I'll bring him to you guys could meet him, and I would meet him, and eventually the principal was like, oh yeah, I saw you in the movie. And before you know, I'm doing career days and talking to the kids in mass and kids. I'm not into signing autographs because I have horrible handwriting. But I was doing all that, and then the kids were responding, and even my friends that were teachers and the principal, like, you should really look into teaching.
Okay.
And I kind of liked being around, influencing like that.
Yeah.
The youth. I mean, I was working at a group home before, and working. We always got jobs at the college for the summer camp.
Yes.
So I was always around youth, and
Remember that.
say, okay.
The CEDAR program.
Mm-hmm. And
The CEDAR program.
something the NCAA did. It was a summer program.
Okay.
But it was, okay, I'm acting, I'm doing all of this. Let me go finish. I needed 2 years to finish. I went back to school and became a teacher. And I've been there 23 years. I've never had a job that long in my life.
That's so cool. I love it. Our girls are in education.
I think it's the greatest decision I've oh my God, I love my kids. I'm not gonna name them. I don't want to get jealous, but they all know who they are. The new ones, the ones this year, the ones last year, the ones before. I don't have children of my own, but I'm now a grandfather because of all these kids. They have kids, and my wife, who's the greatest woman in the world, she's so cool. She's also a teacher, but she's not as close to her students. She's a math teacher, so kids don't like her.
It's hard work, man.
That's terrible.
Yeah, you're not the fun teacher, right?
Yeah, I'm the one. And we always say that. I'm the lucky one. But, when they graduate, they come over. They get to come to the house, especially the ones who want to continue in that career path. And, my wife is never, why are these kids here? Well, they're going to college, and I'm helping them through. She's always been like, have they eaten yet? She'll start cooking, or she'll go get something for the kids to eat, and it's always been like that. And it's a family environment. Holidays, the house gets full.
I bet
we have kids and grandkids. They call her mom as well. But and again, going back to community, going back to community.
How important is it to you and why?
Community?
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. If it wasn't for community, I would not be here. I would not be. And I'm writing a script right now that I can't talk about, but it's about that. It's about community, and I mean, I can be walking down Compton Boulevard at 10:30 p.m. and somebody's like, "Yo, Rambo, you need a ride, man?" Someone's it's a big city, or it's not a big city, but it's also a small town.
Right.
And that's my hometown. I heard my dad and my uncles talk about their hometown in Mexico, and that's great. That's beautiful. I went and I loved it, but Compton's my hometown. When Bruce Springsteen talks about my hometown, I think about Compton. And the teachers. I mean, when Mayor Tucker.
Yes, sir.
Tucker.
Mayor
Walter Tucker.
When I was a kid, Walter Tucker. He wasn't someone who was always gone. You saw him in the
Yes, we
community.
did.
Yes, you did.
You saw the city council members in the community. You saw the board members who were ex-educators or still educating. They were there.
They came to the schools on site.
Yes, they were always there. I remember when we performed at Birch in the chorus. We saw the city council people.
Yes, you did.
And,
Absolutely.
and like, I remember that's and I'm sure that happens in every town, in every city, or it doesn't. I don't know, but I know that Compton is like that, and I'm sure Brooklyn. I'm sure there's cities in Detroit. I'm sure they have that as well.
Yeah.
It can't just be us.
What do you think, Cissy? I know you've done a lot of travel to those cities in particular.
Yeah, I've experienced that probably more so in communities of color.
Yes.
Because I think the village becomes vital for the lifeline of that community, right? So definitely Detroit, Houston. The community in Dallas that I was familiar with was not a minority community, but they everywhere else definitely just Florida, wherever you go. Where at least where I've been, New York, definitely. Sissy, you know that in New York, and I think that's what allows us to strive, allows us to continue, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Allows us to pull together.
It's
and
the heartbeat.
celebrate.
It's the heartbeat and the blood that pumps through everyone is the community. I always feel that way. I feel at home. I feel at home. I remember I was in our promotional 6th grade, we call it graduation. I had to recite Kipling's If, the poem If, and I memorized it. But when I had to perform it, I got stuck. And you're a 6th grader, and the room is full of people, and I can't. I went back to the previous line. I repeated it. Nope, I'm still stuck. And I'm just, oh my God, I'm frozen, and the audience is quiet. And I hope I don't start crying, but from the crowd is a old black lady goes, "That's okay, baby."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
like
and
it's okay.
I don't know what happened, but I found the line and I finished the poem, and she was the first one to get up and clap.
Your ovation.
Yes, and that's community.
Yes, it is.
We're not going to let this child fall.
Nope.
No matter how your home is, the community is there, has always been there for me. And I mean, I don't live in Compton anymore for various reasons, but I'm from Compton. I'm in Downey. I'm wearing my Compton Letterman jacket. I'm at the restaurant. People, okay, he's from Compton,
It's the city I'm from.
But a lot of people are from Compton in all these different cities.
I love our city.
Yeah, I think you'll always be,
But some people
least
shy
that's-
away. Some people be like, they don't want to
That's
talk
fine.
about it.
And that's fine.
I don't. I'm not that person, but I get it. I don't get
I
it, but I
can't-
get it.
I mean, I moved 60 miles away from Compton, but I was in Compton.
But you're there every day.
Every single day. Every single day.
And as a teacher, to be at the supermarket and a kid sees you on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they're like, "Oh, what's up, Mr. Reynoso?" And then the parents like, "Who's that man?" This is my teacher, the one I've been telling you about. I'm so silly, I'm so crazy. They talk. They can't wait to go home and tell their parents the crazy stuff that happened in class. Oh, you're Mr. Reynoso. The Hispanic, tú eres el Mr. Reynoso.
Ooh, you'd be like, uh-oh.
Let me see this, all these jokes you're telling. But and again, a community. My kids. When you go to the weddings, it's my kid too is getting married. And I remember just recently, Sammy Flores, one of my top kids. He was out there working in Channel 62. He went into the industry, and I finally met his father for the first time at the wedding. Because you don't meet the parents all the time. And he came over, and again, I hope I don't start crying. But I want to thank you for taking my son under your wing and guiding him. So, no, it's what we do, sir. And I want to thank you for not keeping him
away from that,
from being great, because I always say kids can do great if you just move out of the way. You teach them and just move out of the way. I hope my boss is not listening. The first time I take out the cameras, I don't even show them this part is this. I just take them out and just play with them.
Then just go for it.
If you have questions, ask me.
Listen.
Because if they're not interested, they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to touch it. It's okay. Then you will do enough to pass the class or stay afloat. These are the kids. Not that I move them to the side, but eventually they come around. They just, Reynoso, what does it? Press the button. See what it does.
Figure it out.
See what it does. And then once we get in, a week later, they've been playing with the cameras. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what what the camera does.
Got it.
And I have the old ones that have videotape, that use videotape. And someone these kids, when somebody found a Super 8 film camera,
Wow.
and they brought it. They said, "You could have it, Mister." And I was like, "Get out of here!" Really? He said, "Yeah, we bought it for you."
Oh my!
I go, "How much was it?" It was $5. Like, really? So I show the kids all these different things that I actually operated. That I when I was growing up, and they go, "Wow, VCRs. These kids don't know anything about VCRs."
No, they don't.
That's so wild. Do you incorporate
Some of them don't know
those?
about
Yes, I
CD
show them.
players.
I have laser discs,
Well,
and I didn't do it this year, but I always bring laser disc player, the VCR, the DVD. I don't have a Blu-ray, but I always bring all the evolution of what they now have, and now it's all in your phone.
and that's something.
And I tell you guys are walking around with a studio
In your phone.
in your phone,
In your phone.
that has distribution attached to it.
Right there,
already.
boom.
You could, if you're wise, you'll do a good. You'll be responsible with it, and send good messages out into the universe. Or you could just wait till your little brother's about to fall down the stairs, record them, and then go viral.
Well,
It's
that's
up to
true.
you.
That's absolutely true. For
You
that
know.
one day, right? That 5 minutes of fame, right?
Yeah, good. Kid fell down the steps, but the power you have with that is amazing.
That device.
But that's where we are. Teaching I never thought about it. It just happened, and
so cool.
I'm 5 years from retiring. I miss Hollywood. I made a film a couple of years ago. I was in a movie, and I still work, but I want to go back full
You want to
time.
kind of just dive on in.
I want to retire and go back full time. I miss it. I miss acting.
What about directing? You ever thought about that?
The one I'm writing, I'm going to direct. I don't even think I'm going to act in it.
Okay.
I'm just going to direct it, and produce it, of course. But it'll be about being at Enterprise.
Really?
It's about life at Enterprise. So those of you who've been to Enterprise, we have reunions.
That is
Enterprise?
cool.
Enterprise reunions.
You guys still do.
Oh,
huh?
wow.
Do you get
Because
to see Tanae Smith at all sometimes?
no,
Yeah,
but it was
Enterprise.
basically the administrators, the teachers facilitated our success.
Got it.
I remember the DJ system had just come out, and they went and bought a DJ system for the stage crew to do the DJ thing. They bought cameras for us. We needed communication between the camera and backstage. They bought us walkie-talkies. They everything we wanted or we needed, they would go and get it almost instantly. Now I have to wait 6 months for
Oh my
for
gosh.
equipment. So sometimes, and again, that's the way it is. I'm not mad at it, but I have this setup at school. This I podcast setup, and I bought the microphones, the arms for the microphones.
That's so cool.
I bought all of that, because the kids wanted to learn now, and it's the spirit I inherited from growing up at Enterprise.
Okay.
They need it now, so let's get it now. And I even told the director, she's like, don't do that. I go, it's already done. I'm gonna take my equipment when you guys buy it yourself, and I'm gonna produce my own podcast in my garage.
Right. Exactly.
Don't worry, I'm not mad that I'm not complaining. I'm not blaming you guys. It just needed to be done. I'm not. Oh, I did this. No, I don't do that. The kids needed it. I ordered it. It got there in 2 days. We can't wait. If you see the spark
In their face.
I don't want it to go out. Let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Because otherwise they're going to think, oh, you're full of it. You're not going to get it. You guys
and I've gone through that. I have gone through that.
It.
I have gone through that, and I don't want to go through that again. Luckily, this was not that expensive. And we already have the cameras. Don't get me wrong. My program has been fully furnished. It's just that this came about. They wanted to learn podcast, so I said okay. And it's funny because they wanted to learn podcast because they thought it was easy. I just turn on the microphone, and I wish some of them were here
You have to bring them.
because we have all of this.
bring
This
them.
is what we have. Everything we have here, and with big studio cameras. But when I said, okay, you got to do a rundown. Like, whoa, what's a rundown? Like, well, you got to. It's like a script. What are you going to talk about? So I told them, you get 10 minutes.
Okay.
They go, okay, good. That's still a long time. In broadcast and in streaming, that's a long time. I tell them. So what are you going to talk about? A block, B block, C block. I break it down and I show them the news. This is the way it's done. And like, oh, so some of them like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh, you mean there's work to be done? But that's all right. That's okay. They're coming around. They're coming around, and I can't wait for them to stream their podcast.
Isn't this going to be exciting?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
my
I'll
God.
let you guys know. So
I've got to be there. We
Yes,
got to talk about
please
it.
do.
Have them
Yeah,
come
man,
in and
come
talk about
interview
it.
you. You'll be,
They
you'll
can
be
come
a
talk
guest.
about it. Tell us.
Oh, that's true. That too.
Tell us about their experience.
That too. That
You
too.
know
We
what
can
I
have
mean?
them. We can have them come over.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, you guys do podcasting at the university, of course, huh?
Yes, we do.
What school is this?
University of Southern California.
My kids just went there for
They
a
did?
tour.
Oh,
they went there for
great.
a tour for the summer program. With
We have a high school summer program.
yeah. So they went and they showed them the podcast place, and my kids like, oh, we have this already.
Ah.
And the guy was like, where? You do where? Like, yeah, we're doing this now. And the guy was like, wow, okay.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
like
That is
it.
really cool. Yeah.
But yeah, again, all of that goes around with community.
It does.
The community, and I always tell the kids, my program, by the end of the school year, those that are in the crew, they have to be, they become family.
Okay.
These kids, again, they hang out.
They do.
They go to film school on their breaks. They hang out. When the weather's good, they come over. I fire up the grill. They love eating. I love cooking for my kids, grilling the steaks or whatever. And then they go out and they're teaching other people.
Right.
And that's community.
What are some of the challenges that you may have come across in your passion for community? And,
In my program,
or just in general, on your walk, with some of the students.
the challenges.
Maybe you don't have any. Just what,
Well,
you know what I mean?
there's challenges that people say, oh, these are challenges, and then there's me saying, okay, this is just something that happens that I got to deal
Right.
with.
Gotcha.
As far as when I'm teaching, the crew, let's talk about, it's the crew. These are the
Okay.
kids that stay for the football games, and we're not done until 11:30 p.m. or midnight because we have to pack up all the equipment
Right.
and get everybody home. There are kids who, unfortunately, the parents don't let them be out that late.
Okay.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
There are kids who, culturally, their parents don't think they will be a part of this industry.
Okay.
That's an even bigger challenge. Then there are parents who culturally don't think that their daughters can have a camera on their shoulder.
Okay.
That's a even bigger challenge because they thrive in the class between 8 a.m. and 3:15, and then they have to turn that off because they can't go and do the actual real life experience production side of it.
Okay.
And I've had girls who rock. They can record. The cameras are heavy, and they can handle that camera on their shoulder, and they run the program. And then all of a sudden, the parents are like, "No, you can't do that. You have to get married, or you can't be Hollywood. What do you mean? What are you talking about? And that's again." I lose kids to that challenge, that set of circumstances, and that's the sad part, because I just knew when I see somebody like this person's gonna be the next Oprah Winfrey, or and they don't get to go.
So
They don't get to go.
Have you been successful sometimes in selling the parents on some of that? I remember, you struggled. We not struggled, but we went through
Oh,
that as
yeah,
a youth.
definitely. It's a lot.
Even
of
from the
struggle.
university level, I bet.
Oh, clearly at the university level. I work for the School of Dramatic Arts at USC, and that is a huge challenge, that we see these incredibly talented students of color, right? But their parents can't imagine them going to school to be an actor or to go to school to be a costume designer, right? Because they're like, our hopes and dreams are in you being an attorney.
Right,
Our hopes and dreams are in you being a doctor. Are you finding a career of which you can sustain yourself, right? Because that our industry is not like going to school to be an engineer.
Engineering, correct.
Right? It doesn't matter what your GPA is.
Right.
It matters what the vision is of that casting director and the director of that project, right? You could be Denzel Washington,
Yes.
but if that's not the vision that casting director has, we've tried to address that a bit by building programs that incorporate families in the journey from middle school forward, right?
okay.
So we'll connect with 9th grade families or 8th grade families, do programming, invite them to the university, show our productions on stage, talk about the opportunities.
Okay.
Has it been 100% successful? No, not necessarily, but it has. I have, over a 25-year trajectory, really seen a change in the thinking about
Got it.
Communities and students of color having the permission to go to study the arts.
You just,
Call.
man.
We have a caller.
Oh,
Rashid.
All right, caller, can I get your name, please, here on the Poetry of Justice show? Hello, caller?
Hi, sorry, I was on mute.
No worries.
Hello, caller, can I get your name, please?
Yes, Taylor and Mac.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight? You know,
We're good.
You're doing good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to start this particular segment. We want to talk a little bit about our brown and black love and community. So, if you can talk to us, we can a little bit about that. Rambo, but we have on the line, we have Taylor Rosales and Mac Rosales, and they are a interracial couple. And they have their brown and black love and have brought in 2 beautiful babies into the world. And so I just want us to talk a little about that, why I do have them on the line. And I know that was something that we discussed about talking about on the show, just about community and our black and brown people coming together. So it's been instrumental for us. It's changed my way of thinking, Taylor and Mac's relationship and marriage and our children. And I just thought this would be a great time for us to just have a little bit of family talk.
oh, okay.
You go first,
Me?
Rambo. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I mean, that's what we saw again. Back to community.
Right.
That's what we saw. That's what we never thought twice about. Oh, she's black, or
Yes.
you just were friends and probably were started dating.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And we forgot one other part of that the Samoan culture as
Yes,
well.
sir.
Now you have, to me, Compton is a culture in itself, to where you have African American marrying a Latino or Mexican or Latino person, or a Samoan marrying a Latino person or an African American. I mean, I have kids who are 3 different cultures: Samoan, African American, and Mexican. You
All
know?
in one, huh?
Yes, and again, community. These are. That's why I need to leave, because I'm getting old, and my students' kids are now coming into my classroom, and I don't like that. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
silly.
No, I'm just kidding. But because I just thought about one. I'm not going to say his name, but his dad is Latino, his mom's African American.
Okay.
You know, and then I have, like, right now, one of my Samoan kids is dating. I think they just had a baby. You know, so I don't know if it's challenging at home. I would say let love conquer. Don't let that stop you. You know, you go where you're welcome. You go where your heart is content. You go where your heart is safe.
How do you feel about that, Mac, when you hear the words? What's been your experience, sir? Is he here? Uh-oh.
I said I agree.
You do agree? What about you, Tay Tay? Okay, go ahead. Sorry, guys.
No, I don't think love sees color racial line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think for me, I didn't see it as an issue at all, and I think society is what brought the issue to my feet. And I didn't realize a lot of challenges that you face being in an interracial relationship. And you would think, oh, we're both minorities. It's not you shouldn't necessarily receive any type of backlash, but you do. And I mean, I've experienced it with Black people. And I've also experienced it with Latino people. So I think it's really interesting because I didn't see it as an issue at all. And when we were dating, it was just kind of like, we're dating. It's not like, oh, we're in an interracial dating relationship. It was like, no, I love this person and we're dating. So that was new for me and really hard for me in the beginning, is to be okay with the fact that society might not accept you or your children, but that doesn't diminish your love or your union or, the life that you bring into this world either.
That's so true. I like that. Lloyd, what about you? How did it resonate for you at all? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, these are my children. So this is my daughter and my son-in-law. And as Taylor said, it's not anything we necessarily thought about in the beginning. But as Taylor and Mac got married, and a time, and I don't know if you guys remember this, Tay and Mac, when you guys were moving into your apartment.
Yeah.
And we had the movers that were there. And I think initially they were just working with Mac, my son-in-law. And they were Latino men who were moving. And then eventually Taylor and I showed up to the apartment. And it was a complete change. They refused to speak to Taylor and I. They would only talk to my son-in-law, but I give it to my son-in-law. My son-in-law doesn't see color. He told those gentlemen, this is my wife, and we're going to put the furniture wherever my wife says. We're going to put the furniture, right? And so they were forced to talk to Taylor and I, but it was so begrudging. And I think it was at that moment that I realized that Mac's Latino. I think up until then he was just
he's Mac.
He was Mac. He was a young man that was courting my daughter, and they were having a baby and getting married. But that landed on me very, very heavily. Right. But I have to say, Mac, I truly respected your response and your ability to support your wife and to have the world know that this is your wife and that she will be respected and that the world won't change the love that you guys have for each other.
I love that. That is such a great story. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. What were you going to say, Mac? I'm sorry.
I said thank you.
You're welcome. So how's it going, you guys? Congratulations on the new baby. They've got a brand. Yeah, he's so adorable. He's little Macario, and he's just so cute. He's adorable. He's the cutest. I didn't even know Gabriel's not there. Is Gabriel listening?
Now.
He's at the basement.
But I think that's the funny thing too is when I take at any school event, parents will be like, "Oh my gosh, how cute!" And they assume that, okay, well, I must be, Latina as well. And I'm like, no, I'm Black. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And it's like, no, don't be sorry. I have children. And sometimes they have my features. Sometimes they look just like my husband, And I think that's also, too, is my husband actually has taught both of our kids to be very strong in their identity. And my son will raise his hand to anybody and say, I'm Mexican and Black. Are you Mexican or are you Black? Or are you both like me? And he gets really excited about it. And so I think it's just making sure you keep that love there and you let them know that it's okay to stand out and not be like everyone that's in your classroom. And I love that pride that I think our love created and just continues to flow into our children.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much, Taylor. Thank you so much, Mac. I appreciate it.
Thank you
have any
guys for
questions,
calling.
Lord? You okay?
No, just that I'm very proud that my grandson is finding his way in both of his cultures, right? And he can talk to you about, being Mexican. Mac is definitely teaching them their culture.
Excellent.
He knows Spanish, and he talks about the Mayans just ad nauseum, right? So that's a great thing, though, because then he goes back into his classroom and he's able to share both sides of who he is, right? Which is pretty cool.
I think it is.
Yeah. Struggles a little bit with his hair. They
Okay.
tease,
Oh, we always.
but I think he's getting stronger in
can
that
relate.
regard too, right?
He loves his hair.
It's always a struggle. Now I'm struggling to grow it.
Right.
Like so crazy.
And he loves seeing, Mexican people and black people with long hair. Like, he loves it. And his joking thing is, I have, Aztec warriors that have long hair. And then Snoop Dogg also has long hair. And it cracks me up, but I think it's good because he's able to identify his hair in both races. And I think that's the important thing. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, we agree on every single topic. Because sometimes, he looks at me, why does he have to wear a scarf at night if he's wearing his hair? Right? And then I look at him and I'm like, you know what? It's just a thing. It has to be done. And for him, he's like, you need to know how to make chile relleno. It's not a question about it. You just need to know how to make it. So I do think it's balances that you have to kind of set as well. But I think that comes with any relationship, whether you're in the same
Absolutely.
race
That's
or
true,
not.
Taylor.
Either way, you're learning from each other, whether you're in the same culture or not. And culture is not set to an ethnicity. Just because I went to tour all the HBCUs doesn't make me an expert on black culture.
Right. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Or now I'm going to go to Olvera Street and learn about, that even that doesn't encapsulate all people from that ethnicity.
Right.
My culture is, I'm from Compton. I'm from Compton. The way I grew up is seeing or having a black girlfriend or my friends were, we never looked at color that way. We never, now there are people who you just got here to this country, they do that.
Right.
Right. My personal experience has always been, and again, it's all from the heart. And going back to that old lady in the audience, you anybody could relate. You will go wherever your heart is safe, wherever you're accepted. And I was always more accepted in the African American culture. I was, and I talked. My motorcycle club that I belong to. I'm up until recently, I'm the only Mexican in the club. It was a predominantly African American club. People, why did you join the Latinos? Well, when I was writing 20 years ago, I didn't know about any Mexican motorcycle clubs.
Gotcha.
Not that I was going to go looking for them. If they weren't from Compton, I wasn't going to join them. I grew up sitting on the curb watching the Brothers of the Sun riding by on Alondra, and like, ooh, I want to be like that. Looking at, shout out to Brothers of the Sun, who've been there for forever in that community. Divided time, all the clubs that I grew up looking at, and then our club is pretty new. Shout out to Hub City Riders.
That's right. Woo-hoo.
That's where Rambo is.
That's when he comes
know
live.
who Juan Reynoso
Is that where Rambo comes live?
You
show out there?
I just sit there and smoke a cigar and just watch everybody ride their motorcycle. I have a very, very simple motorcycle. I don't have sounds on mine, but that's the beautiful thing. No one has ever judged me I'm not judged where I am. I'm accepted for who I am.
Okay.
And that's always been, you know.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the cultural part, back to USC and the parents. When I got the part in Kazam, it was that was not a real job.
Right.
That's not a real job. What are you gonna do? So, well, and what about your job? Well, I'm gonna have to quit that job. Why? Because in 1 week I'm gonna make more than I did all year.
Quit that job.
You know, and now I liked the job I had at the time, but the boss was like, I can't hold your job for 3-4 months.
Right.
You know, so okay, now I'm gotta go full throttle on the acting thing. But it was always that's not a real job. And of course, it's not just Hispanics who think that. Anyone who doesn't understand that industry, that's not a real job.
I think that along with economics. Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
economics.
yes. I mean,
Difference.
if I'd listened to my dad, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd probably have 4 or 5 jobs just to make ends meet. You know, and I never listen to people when I want to do what I want to do. Uh-oh. There he is. Macario, do you have a question?
He'll be in the studio next week.
He says it's eating time.
You should be
Yeah.
here soon.
But-
I don't care if you're on the phone, Mom. It's time to eat.
Let's go.
Sorry, Taylor.
Well, go feed little Macario.
Okay, thank you for letting us speak. We appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you for hanging with us. We
thank
love
you
you
for calling.
We appreciate
pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
it. Hey,
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Okay, bye-bye. Max all quiet tonight.
know.
He's so quiet. I love Macario, though. He's a cool guy. And I love the way he interacts with Gabriel, the way he talks to his son, Lori's grandson. He calls him, I love their tenderness. You know what I'm saying? He's very tender. He calls him baby. Oh, my baby. I love my baby. And it's just really... And this is interesting. I shouldn't say that, but I mean, with our husbands, when we had our kids and we had girls, I never saw that level of tenderness. I just did it. You know what I'm saying?
Time.
It's a
I think
different
it was
culture.
a different
huh?
time. Well, no, it was a different time.
You know,
It was a different time.
different era. I just didn't see that. I think it's
Yeah.
sweet. Anyway, moving on. Loving life. It's a good time. No.
It is.
And I just need to see more of
Gabriel
that.
emulates that with his new little brother. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime he whines or, he's just making baby sounds, right? And he's like, oh, papas, what's wrong, papas?
Oh, he does.
He's like that. What can I get you, papas?
He's being the big brother.
He's
being the
a
big brother.
great big brother.
Definitely.
Yes, he is. He's dynamic at it. I love he strategically made sure he maintained his footing and position with his grandmother before this baby was born, and he
Yes, he
asked
did.
Lord. He says, "Now, Nana, you do love me."
Uh-oh. He was campaigning
He
already.
was campaigning.
And Lord goes, "Yes, Gabriel, of course I love you." He goes, "No, do you really love me?" He's 5. He goes, "No, do
Yeah.
you really love me?" And Lori goes, "Yes." I goes, okay then. I guess he's like, look, long as me and you cool before this little dude
So he
come."
knew there was a baby
Yeah,
coming.
his little bro.
And
yeah.
again, it goes back to the time. We did not, that was
You
not
wasn't gonna be
discussed
right, that's true.
when we were kids.
No.
Your mom is pregnant. We didn't know that. All of a sudden, my mom left
He just came back with his person.
and came back. Oh, she went to the hospital to buy a baby. Oh, they sell them? Is that what happened with us? How come we... we all look alike.
Not nowadays. Gabriel can tell you. He's like,
Yes.
And I think Taylor has been so inviting in that process. I mean, they played music for the baby before he was born.
Oh, yeah.
And Gabriel had his time where he would talk to him so he could hear his voice. Very different from when my mom had my sister. I
remember,
just knew one day there was a little baby here. I don't know where it came from,
Yeah.
but it was here, and my job was to look after.
be
it.
nice.
Yeah.
That was it.
it was, we were watching a movie when we were kids, and the lady was pregnant. and she went into labor. And my mom and dad, Camille, I turned the channel.
Well, I
It's
do.
getting serious, man. Let us watch.
This is the best part.
We were not allowed to watch that because, oh my God forbid, their kids will find out that kids come from their mom. And my wife and I talk about it like that was
Taboo.
not talked about. It was crazy.
Like you said, it was just a different time.
I remember it was a big deal. I know I'm going ancient years. People probably even remember the I Love Lucy show. But when her
it
being
was a
pregnant
big deal
on set,
Yeah.
that was massive. That was huge
even
deal.
they slept in
Yes, sir.
separate beds on the show. They had
It's
their
like,
own
how
bed.
dare she have a baby? They don't even sleep in the same bed. Where did this baby come from?
Oh my God, I'm glad that's not like that anymore.
You're glad? I don't know nowadays. You look at something, you're like, what
Like,
happened?
what happened?
From Ozzy and Harriet to this.
Well, even when
Hair
again
to
back
Monster
to community, when we were kids and a young lady got pregnant, she was sent away to another school.
But that is very true.
Tubman.
Yep.
I would say Tubman was the alternative
Yes.
school.
Now, I mean, I have yet to see in the last 5 years any kids pregnant on campus.
That's good.
But I know they are. But it's like you just didn't do that.
Right.
You didn't. Now you don't send them away.
Well, I think now it's a Title IX violation, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
probably. I'm sure.
You can't discriminate against someone because they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something. I mean, it's just different times. I mean, again, all of a sudden, so and so left, and she's at Tubman.
Don't you remember that? I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
You know why she? And anyway, you know why she's at Tubman.
You already know if you had Tubman, you know why, right?
You know.
And then Chester, though, you was just fucking up and got kicked out.
Those are the ones that probably went to the other place. where the place where all my boyfriends went.
Did you go to Compton? No. Did you go to Centennial? No. Did you go to Jamaica? Your ass went to Chester.
And now
Went to Chester.
that's just an it's just an adult school.
Okay.
It's not.
You effed up and you
It's
going
no
to
longer for wayward children.
The way-
No, now it's Chavez.
Okay.
Chavez,
Oh,
but now they
yeah.
kept them at the school. But you're in
Okay.
Chavez,
Gotcha.
So it again, different times.
I remember at Centennial back in the 80s, like 86, 85, 84, you had to go to room 54. You remember that? When you was effing up? Remember Mama used to work in room 54? Miss
She
Boy?
used to work
You
in
would go to
room
room 54.
54.
I used to love room 54. I used to go up there and visit. When after I left Compton and my mama was still working at Centennial, I was going to El Camino College. And this was shortly after my daddy
54.
passed away. And I would go, Mommy, we would
You know,
share.
but that was not a good situation, in my opinion, right? Because you put all of them in the room together, and there's no learning happening. And it was just detainment.
Yeah.
It was detained.
It was just detainment. That was
If you
all
kind
it
of
is.
think about it. But room
Yeah.
54 used to rock in room 54. I would go up there to pick up Mom. I'd be like, let me go down here to room 54, go up here and get Mom.
I don't know if we had that at Compton High. We didn't have that at Compton
We had
High.
no. Did we?
Room
Okay, maybe it
54.
wasn't bad. We just,
I don't know. Yeah,
might have
I
had
didn't.
a room. I don't know.
If there was nothing
Go to room
happening at
54.
school,
If you
I'd
effing up,
go
you're going to
home.
go to room 54. The teacher's not dealing with you. Just,
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. You stay in class.
what a concept. You stay.
Because again, I mean, back then, I'm a misbehaved, so I don't have to be in here. They'll send me to room 54.
54.
Right, you going to room 54, Miss Boy?
That's it, 54.
They're
They're
like,
playing
oh, no,
cards. They're
you can
just
stay
chilling.
here now. Do the work.
All kind of stuff. Running errands for Miss Boyd, God rest her soul. Remember that? Used to be the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
Running the snack shack.
But they used to work in the student store.
Exactly.
A lot of the room 54 occupants became employees of the student store.
Man, those are the good old days. Good old
Employees.
Compton.
They did. But I mean, that becomes a challenge, right?
What do you mean, right? She's like employee.
Employees.
Basically.
Because, like, my youngest daughter, and Jackie's youngest, too, were teachers. Her oldest is still a teacher, but my youngest son was teaching for charter school. And she had a lot of challenges with classroom management. Yeah. Because, what do you do if someone's disruptive and there is no room 54 to send them to?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to try to manage that.
I don't have those problems. I don't think kids want to misbehave in my room.
You've already have a track record proven.
I mean, my thing is, I tell people I'm the lucky teacher. kids want to be there. And my thing is, and I always tell them, fire me if you don't like the way I do my job, but you can't save everyone. You can't. And I tell the parents, I'm not going to make your child do this work.
They don't want to.
Because that's a losing battle. I'm not going to force. I remember as kids in elementary school, the kid who was, maybe he was having a bad day or she was having a bad day, and the teacher would, no, you're going to do this, where she would grab the pencil in the hand and she's writing, and like, now you're the one doing the work, not the kid.
Right.
You know, that.
You remember that? With the little big flat blue pencils? You remember the one? With the little
right
brown
those
paper?
Those are my favorite.
I love those.
But
I love the brown paper that
brown
had
with
the
the
lines at the
lines
bottom, but the top had
And-
big
and
open
you could
space.
draw at the
You
top.
could make a picture.
Right, I used to love
And
that.
write
That would be
about it
good
at
for
the bottom.
storytelling
Yeah.
time. I used to love that.
Do they still make paper like that?
no, the pulp.
Remember you used to get that at, you go to Cressels.
Yeah.
No.
And go
You
down
could go to
Cressels.
Cressels or Lakeshore.
And remember that Lou's stationary
Lou's
store
stationery
on Long
store.
Beach Boulevard. That used to be a big deal. We used to go up on Long Beach Boulevard.
We would.
Lou's stationary.
Spend
Mom
hours
used to get us. I know.
Well, I didn't like the paper, the pulp, because I made a lot of mistakes. So I think.
And then when you erase it, get effed up.
yeah, we
And
get
it all
effed
is towed down to the
like that
ground.
paper. I was
did like
glad
that.
when
It's
they
true.
when
we got
they
to the
brought
white
the
paper.
white one.
Yeah, with the big lines.
Yeah.
With that big red line.
All right, big.
The
I
wide
have a question
rule.
for you, though, Rambo. Do you have any idea why, educationally, they no longer teach cursive writing in school?
Great.
Why is that?
Computers. I mean,
But children need to know how to sign their names.
yes, they do need to know that. They do need to know that. I've never been told to teach it.
You can do it electronically now.
Yeah.
Rashid.
Yes.
You literally can.
Yeah. When you're applying
But that's
for a
not
loan.
your signature.
Well, that's the one they let you choose. There's 3 different ones.
Ooh, I know. I've
Choose
seen
one
it,
of
but
these.
come on, guys.
And the
I
fact
just
that you
think
clicked
that's
on it and said you're not a
unbelievable.
robot, that's
Is that
your
just
signature.
a part of just the new world order, if you will?
They
Apparently.
just took the curriculum and said, this
That's-
whole
we don't
unit
need that,
is
the big
out.
A, and then the little A.
And then,
and
I
the
mean, even
B,
there's even a
and
font
B,
now
and
that writes in
C.
cursive, but the kids don't read cursive. And everything's digital. Everything's
But they should teach them their signature.
that they do need to teach. I've never encountered a kid who had a problem signing their name. I never.
They can't
I
pick the one.
encountered some kids. They just scribbled.
Well, and again, the signatures,
couldn't pick
the
one.
signature is
'Cause
going to
they,
evolve.
You know what they just
The signature, your signature is going to evolve from when you were a kid to now. It's not the
right.
same.
But
It is
I have
so not
I
the
have
same.
an L that's recognizable,
Right.
and I have an R that's recognizable.
At least.
Yeah. Your signature evolves. My
An R and a P.
Right now.
yeah. Just like you don't sign art. You just write your autograph. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, just every big
They can
A.
use that. They're gonna use that. Oh, I got his signature. Let's copy paste it on a contract.
I just want.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I mean, I haven't had a use for cursive for the kids. I don't remember the last time aside from me signing my name.
But you
I
should
don't
be
write
practicing for the SAT. When they go in to take the SAT,
They could write
they
sign
can sign
instead
that
of
they were
just-
here.
Yeah. Well, they used to do that was a signature.
They could literally. Yeah, in fact, there's such thing called thumbprint. In fact, they have you scan your school ID to say, okay, I was here, I'm taking this test. In fact, here is the standardized test that is specifically for you.
Yes.
Here you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you disagree?
The cursive debate is ongoing everywhere. And again, I don't.
This was a recent development for me. I just learned this like maybe 2 weeks ago.
It's like stick shift. There's a video where some kids was going to rob a car and it was stick shift. And
They couldn't take it.
Oh yeah, in fact, there was also one video where like old lady was getting robbed, but like since she had that like the actual stick in the steering wheel.
The club.
the club.
Yes, the club. I haven't seen the club in forever.
See, right?
I used to have one though in my car.
I mean, my mom used to have one too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, in fact, since she couldn't get the club off of the steering wheel, couldn't ride the car, and were just crashing it everywhere.
Yeah, and then their electric bicycles it's all one gear. So when they see the motors, when I ride my bike. Well, how do you? Well, this. He goes, what's this? That's if you had a car, it would be your manual transmission, your stick shift. And they go, what's a stick shift? So like, well, okay, here we go. Well, you make it go faster or give it more power by moving from one gear to the other. And this is the clutch. What's a clutch? Well, if you ever seen a car that has what looks like an extra brake pedal, I'm like, no, I've never seen that.
See, yes.
Yeah, because like those type of manual transmission cars nowadays have gone obsolete.
Do they even make those?
Literally,
my 2003 Tundra was stick shift, and every time I went to the dealer,
those are more vintage
he didn't.
cars.
You're like, what? Did they make this? And I didn't know. I just bought it that way.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like,
really? I've never seen a Tundra stick shift.
Yeah, in fact, you have to go to a literal shop. In fact, you have to go to a specific type of like vintage shop that will actually sell these type of vintage cars, or go to one of these like low rider. In fact, car shows where you will see these types of vehicles with.
Yeah.
With that, and maybe certain brands of like racing cars.
True.
Or even your new racing cars, your Indy cars, they just push a button. And your Camrys and all those are stick shift. You just move the. It's digital. It's computer.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
What happens when that computer get to tripping? Right?
You're not going
Melissa
anywhere.
Morgan. What was that little girl name? That doll.
Megan.
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 I don't want to talk about.
Okay, hold on.
You don't want to talk about
The
Megan?
Scary
main
movies make
thing
me
that
scared.
happened with Megan is the fact that you gave the doll to a child that was going through some shit.
Is that what was wrong with Megan?
That's how it started, right? That's the
I mean,
catalyst.
the movie starts off with a traumatic experience.
Oh wow!
That girl is traumatized.
And you gave her a walking doll that talks.
Instead of you being the parent, well, the step parent, basically you adopted her because both her parents, you know, kind of just
Yeah.
So instead of you actually being there, you put the doll to actually try to listen to her, and then you have the doll accompany her to her therapy sessions because, of course, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. She has PTSD. So
the doll hears all of the trauma. And then she kills the people who were traumatizing?
No. She basically goes into like mommy mode. She basically goes into like overprotective mode times 1,000.
Mama Bear.
Yes. Basically,
At a
she
whole new
went.
level.
Mama Bear. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
basically, she went Mama Bear 2.0. Well, sorry.
Megan looks scary to me just on the advertisement.
like,
So
I'm not
cool.
messing with
I don't know
Megan.
what she did. She remind me of Lizzie Blair, whatever that lady named, Lisa, the movie Exorcist chick. She looked like her just without the green spit.
Oh,
so
and-
I'm cool.
But then
Can we
what?
not talk about the Exorcist? It's already dark outside, and I have to go home eventually.
Right, but what made Megan worse was the fact that like the actual model itself, it wasn't complete. That's what happens in all these freaking movies. Someone messes with the model before it's actually complete.
No, it was a prototype. It was a little glitch going down.
Yeah, so
See what I'm saying? Mm-mm.
basically it
No.
was a glitch.
It was
where,
Alexa.
where it's like she learned, and it's like that's the main thing with AI, with artificial intelligence. Since she is an artificial intelligence and she's learning from the environment, trying to look up things, and then she just said, you know what? So if I go, this child wants to bully my actual caretaker, my owner. I'm going to do something about that. In fact, this dog is trying to harass my owner. I'm going to take care of that dog. And then I'm going to take care of the owner
Of the
that
dog. Oh, so she just kept going. See,
It's just
that's like the movie Orphan with that little girl.
went up from there.
Oh my gosh. See, that's why I can't mess around. No. I need to watch it. Y'all want to watch it? We can watch it now.
No.
It was a literal F around.
See, now
I could live forever not watching Megan.
I know you guys see a big bad biker. The movie I saw before I got here was Fly Away Home.
Okay.
So, see, you're too young. It's a little girl who finds some eggs and they hatch, and they're little geese, and then she teaches them to fly home, and they use these fixed wing aircraft, and her dad helped her, and I cried through the movie because it was inspiring.
You come in here,
And then you come in here and talk about some Megan.
You come here, Megan.
I mean, literally the last movie.
You're going to be looking over your shoulder the whole way home.
And then you mentioned The Exorcist.
I know. See, that's making me remind me of her.
I mean,
I'm cool, Meg.
I mean, the last movie I saw was John Wick 4.
At the city of Hawthorne, your lights are not that bright on the street, so I'm going to be worried between here and the 105 freeway. Be looking over my shoulder.
Megan doesn't ride a motorcycle, so you're safe.
She might be.
She's
gonna be like,
She knows how to drive. What do you mean?
She might be running next to me in the dog formation. I'm just.
You know, Chucky was a little beast. Remember Chucky? What about
I
Chucky? Did you
love
do Charles? You
Chucky.
didn't mess with Chucky?
I don't do.
I watched
I don't do scary movies.
So I guess you will not be in the next Chainsaw Massacre.
No. Actually, that's not even a scary. They call them
didn't like
slasher
that.
movies, right?
I don't like it.
No,
Weird,
there's a
people
new-
are weird. Like The Hills Have Eyes. Did you see The Hills?
Oh, my.
Did you see that? Did you see The Hills?
I rather
Yes.
laugh.
Yes, I did.
See
Yes.
those weirdo and those that man.
Those
they
were
with the
literally
electro.
mutated hillbillies.
Exactly.
They were.
And they exist because I
Like
know I know a
Deliverance.
few.
Yep, and they were very incestuous.
I know if
They were
I've seen a few.
very
I don't know them, but I've seen them at a distance. This is getting.
I hope you guys enjoyed the movie.
Oh my
That's
god!
wild.
Anywho, I know we got a little off track, but see, it's good times, great times. I don't know, guys. Artificial intelligence. What are you thinking? Man meets machine. We're in a hybrid world.
Well, your phone's already like that. It learns. It learns.
I mean, that's why you get personalized ads fucking whenever you
Or
go
when you
to a
pick
certain
it up in the
location.
morning, it knows what time you out normally pick it up, and it doesn't ring while you're asleep.
You can tell it not to do that.
And then it automatically knows when you're going to work, even though you didn't put the word work in there.
Because
How do you know I'm going to work?
That's
I could
what you
be
do.
going to be tricking or something. I mean, I don't know.
The GPS follows you there. Oh, you're going to work.
Oh, yeah, she goes there every day.
I like
Every
that.
there. She's working.
Mine tells me it's time to go to the radio show.
It didn't know you were going to the radio.
It does.
It knows you're coming to Accelerate Radio.
No, it knows that I'm going to your address
Oh my god.
because I use my GPS to track the traffic, right? So it starts thinking like, oh, it's around the time you
Yeah.
usually, and you haven't put that address in. So it says, hey, are you going to this address? Traffic's really heavy. You should leave earlier.
Like, go, get up, beat it.
Mine does that, and they go. And by the way, you were looking for a refrigerator. Remember?
Right,
Here's
right.
some ads for refrigerators.
You know
Oh, Faka
what?
Mama, you were
Yeah,
at
Eric's
this
does
billiards
that for
pool,
real.
pool area. Faka Mama, let me give you some.
But how does sometimes
advertisements
it just
about
it happen?
billiards.
Feels like you can just think about it in your mind and then it'll be up in your phone.
Eric can speak it. He can say like, "Oh,
And
I
then-
think I want to get
A
you
dog
know,
crate.
exactly."
And then all of a
and in
sudden-
his feed, dog crates.
crates.
Well, people are shocked, but no one reads the terms of
service.
service, and it's in there.
Right.
We give them permission for all.
I
of that.
agree with you for all of that. For
All the
listening to
games
your
you
So
play.
is this just on? Is it just right now? Somebody listening? A little
Oh,
robot in here?
something is listening. I don't want to say someone.
As she
I know
cusses
I
out the
did
phone.
You have everybody talking like the mafia. Hey, you gonna do that thing?
Exactly,
You know that thing
that's
over in
right.
the place.
You know that thing you said at the
Yeah.
place.
All right, okay.
Be like Pesci right there.
We're gonna meet over here and do the
They
thing.
I
brought in
still
lip
owe you
readers.
for the
Lip
thing.
readers.
Crazy.
That's that Compton life too, though.
I still owe you for that thing. Don't forget about that other
Yeah,
thing.
that's Mac. That's how Mac talks.
Yeah,
Wow.
man, don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of the thing.
I take care of everything. Don't worry. about it.
Interesting, guys. It does. It knows everything, but then sometimes it knows how to tell you lies. I've been getting messages,
Lies?
yeah, about Netflix account. Your Netflix account has been suspended.
I get that
Please
every
log
day.
in. Every other day you get that crap. Well, like no matter which one of my cell phones, it's
Then
crazy.
that's spam then.
It's totally spam. It pisses me off. But look how many people probably fall for that shit. And then they get your credit card information. Isn't that horrible?
That's how it always goes, because the game of spam, it's a game that will never stop. That's why on your email, back when you have a spam folder, and I like to sometimes go through my spam folder. I'm not opening up the spam folder. I just look at the different topics that the
Of what
spam
they're sending. Gotcha.
Yes, of what they're sending, because sometimes they'll say, "Yo, if I go on hot singles in your area."
What are you clicking on?
Rashid,
I ain't clicking.
I am appalled.
I get a lot of motorcycles and trucks. And,
Harley stuff.
yeah, I do. And
That makes sense.
helmets.
Oh wow. Okay. Never mind. Nah, in fact, I just saw a certain former president over at this fighting event. I was just like, "Aren't you supposed to be arrested, dog?"
Oh, yeah. We'll
Let's
see.
move on.
He had an attitude. My goodness. The arrest.
Crazy.
I know, crazy times. I never thought I'd see that, but it's interesting to see it.
Speaking about AI as an educator, you know, there's this, I can't remember, something chat, GPA chat or something like that, where students are buying, I know we're seeing this at the university level,
Those
they're
papers.
buying term papers.
My friend
And
used that
even-
at work.
It even passed the bar exam.
This shit, I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Sharice does it. Oh, I shouldn't say her name. My homegirl. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, whatever. She does it all the time, and she's been telling me about it. But you know, I'm old school Compton in the house. I'm gonna use this. I don't want to lose this. I'm gonna use my brain cells as long as God giving them to me. I'm gonna use my shit. And she'll be like, "Oh, Jacqueline, you want to write this? You're gonna need to do job description. Hey, just have
It's
it
called
this."
Chat GPT.
And you just click on that shit and you say, and then you can say, dummy it down. Make it not sound so smart. And then the motherfucker thing will do it again and it'll and it'll spit it back out. Or you can say, rewrite it as if I was like 15. Oh, girl, my boss, you know this, her, she has her kids do it. That's how they write all of their papers. And then she says that she have to go back in and tell it to dummy it down some, because she says, oh, well, my daughter is 16. She's not going to sound this intelligent.
Some of our kids are too lazy to even do that, so don't worry. We don't worry about it.
Not even true, huh?
We don't worry about
Who's
it.
going to be using their brain?
They're
So
doing
many
this.
people are not going to be using this, Lori.
I mean,
Where are we
literally,
going?
It's going to come down to, you better pray that this program knows how to get around the copyright.
I'm
back
doing
when
that.
back when my claims or
You're right.
my plagiarism. You better hope.
See, does
that
it fall?
program-
How does it? But it beats plagiarism, according to like Sharice. She said it beats plagiarism. It's like it knows
it
how
has
to
beat
not
it.
get caught up.
Yeah.
You feel me?
But you know, it's always
There's a
evolving,
site
and there's
sources.
always a fix that's coming back behind it. So now there's a, I don't know if you've heard of Turnitin.
Yes.
Turnitin dot whatever gov.com, whatever it is.
Turnitin
But that's what we
.com,
would use to kind of recognize and substantiate
Yeah.
plagiarism. So Turnitin has
An alternative.
added another
Layer.
feature, another layer
Okay.
that should be able to look for AI generated content. Work. Because we're working on a case right now. It's our first AI paper. And at the university level, we're trying to think about ways that we can embrace this technology, not to have to.
So this could be like a little sixth grader writing the Pythagorean
Well,
theorem. I mean, what the yikes?
As far as when I teach screenwriting, I don't teach them everything about screenwriting. Not, how can I put it? It's just the basics. Character, dialogue, scene, and scene heading, things like those.
Okay.
I just want you to start writing. I don't need that software when I'm reading scripts, and that's the fun part. When they send me they turn in something that I know they didn't write because I didn't teach them that.
Gotcha.
And I watch so many movies throughout my life that I go, hey, I know this movie. This dialogue looks familiar, and then all you gotta do is Google just that, copy paste that line, and it'll take you to the screenplay.
Yeah, that's turn it in.
I go,
hey.
but it's a movie that has already been produced, and it's just fun to me because I go to the other teacher and go, read this. I remember somebody turned in All the President's Men.
Oh my gosh.
Ghost.
Oh no!
But they stopped right before the love scene with the and one of them was hilarious. She wrote about rooftops and being with the boyfriend and the fire escape of the building. And I always say, write what you know. And these apartments were in New York.
West Side Story?
No. So I'm like,
How does she?
How does she know all of this? And I go, I didn't teach shallow depth of field shot. I didn't teach you that yet. We haven't even got into shots. And we Googled it, and it was funny because it was a short film that was actually screening at that particular time in New York.
Wow.
and it's just funny when they, like, you can't. We know if you didn't write it. We know we know our students, our English teachers. I know what you can write, so don't turn something in.
It's so interesting. My coworker uses it so very often, and she used it to create a policy, right? And then when she submitted it to the owner of the company, right? Yeah, so she submitted it. So the owner of the company has a new high-paying
software
executive assistant. Remember the new lady, the new executive assistant. And when she read the work, she went back to Sharice and told her, oh, no, you use way too many pronouns here. You use way... Old girl went through it like a school teacher and bust that shit down, dog, and told her you did this. And because she called me back and she was like, Jacqueline, I'm fucking mad at her. She called her name. I'm mad at effing because she went through my paper and she just went through it. She just ripped it up. She told me, that's what she told me. She had too many pronouns in it. And she said I had too many nouns and my nouns was in the wrong place and I didn't use the right adverb. And I was like, that's why I don't use that shit. That's why I don't use it. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe one day, I don't know. I don't knock it. I'm just going to use my brain, what God gave me, until I can't use it.
I tell my kids, if it's an F, it's my F.
Right, because I need it right.
If it's not my A, I don't. It's about, at the end of the day, it's about how you feel about it. At the end of the day, it's how you feel about it. Oh, you could get all the accolades for getting this right or whatever, but deep inside, it wasn't you.
But is that a way of separating the robotics versus the creatives? You know what I'm saying? People are going to be programmed to just click this button. Okay, yeah, the phone just automatically tells me what I need to know. I'm not going to worry about digging. I'm not going to look any further. I'm just going to just do what this generation, what this world, what these machines are telling me to do. Versus the Rambos of the world who's thinking and writing and feeling and touching and can recognize, hey, this student wouldn't be able to write about the details of textures of this and that, and because they haven't seen this, they wouldn't know that. So then you've got that artistic brain that's not going to conform to that. That's not going to just push that button. You're still going to search for reality.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it doesn't.
It definitely does. The scary part to me
How
is
many's going to go that way?
when will AI move into the realm of creativity?
It already has.
Yeah. But
When they tell it, because I have some pictures here that draw the god of this in the Aztec Empire. And according to everything that AI knows, that's what they wrote. That's what they drew. And they're interesting. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know, this god of this, and it's all the but it's the interpretation of the software.
Of all the literature.
Everything they read, you go, this is what this person would look like. So
the Jetsons is here, guys. You can order a ticket to space.
You can do that.
if you have the money.
Right.
Would you guys go to space?
I would love to.
You know what? I'm not. I'm good.
I would love
It's
to.
just my luck. The space shuttle I get on would be the one. I'm just teasing.
I would love to.
You would?
And I know I probably
Mr.
won't
Apollo
in my
13?
lifetime.
How long
would
can
love
you
to.
stay up there? They just go up there, look around, and get the fuck back? I mean, like, what do they do?
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
one-day
they go up.
excursion.
It's not even 15 minutes.
Are you serious? It's like
No.
going to Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
It's not like the Apollo 13 people.
No.
You just kick it up there, walk around,
Uh-uh.
and get off, and do all this shit.
It's like a Magic Mountain ride.
Yeah.
On the 100 for real, for real.
No, really, because you go to the outer.
And you go around the universe.
You just go up.
You go
there
straight up and then come right
right
back
back down.
Okay. And you can
just
look out the
take
window?
up there long enough to feel zero
Weightlessness.
gravity.
Right,
do?
like, the actual change in like atmospheric pressure, because what you're going to feel once you enter
What do they go up in?
Rocket.
a rocket. Mega Moment, they have those actual rockets where like you will actually experience what the astronauts actually experience. Where like just like when you're in the airplane and like Mega Moment, and you feel when you are changing altitudes, Mega Moment, you feel the change in pressure. That's why they say Mega Moment, you might want to wear like those earplugs because you will have your eardrum pop
Wow.
from the actual change in like altitude and changes pressure. But with a rocket, since you're going really fast, you're going through all those changes like really fast. So like they'll have you in like specific headgear, back in my ear gear, just to make sure that like, yo, back in my if I'm going into space, even for a short period, I'm making sure that I don't become liquefied.
Wow. Isn't that exciting? I'm just
Yeah.
cool.
Michael Strahan.
He went.
He went.
What? He had a good time, he said.
Yeah.
I
Said
bet
it was
so.
great.
That's cool. You going? You want to go? If you got a free ticket?
$250,000.
For one trip, for 15 minutes?
For 15 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Takes
That's
longer to put on the suit.
Yeah. And the training.
Yeah.
I watched Good Morning America and Michael Strahan.
And
They
his
filmed like
training.
his journey,
That's
and he
way
had to
cool.
train and
You
all the
have
stuff
to
that
go
the
through the
athletes
NASA
do.
program, yeah.
Yeah.
Back when they literally put you through a NASA program and it's like some of the training that like the athletes do is literally from the training that like these astronauts go through, because it's more on like strengthening and build stamina.
That's way cool. I don't know, guys. I just guess I'll be seeing Juan. You got to bring us some pictures back from when you're up in space. You can be
I'm
like,
not
Jackie,
going.
I told you.
He's
I was
like, you know what? I'm gonna be built on the ground. The only time I'm going in the air is on a
Not
flight.
going.
Is on a flight. I'm not going to space.
What's next for you, Mr. Reynoso?
It's spring break.
He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing shit.
I've been working on my garage all weekend. No, I'm waiting for the school year to end. Not that I'm not going to do anything at work, but I don't know. See what my agent has in store for me for the summer. And that'll be fun. But I don't have any. I'm not traveling.
What do you say to that student that comes up to you and asks you how to break into the business? What do you tell them?
Listen to me. Follow me. Keep up with me.
They say, I need an agent. What do you tell them?
No, you're not ready for an agent.
You're going to say no? Why
You're
not?
Why? You're not ready for an agent.
What makes a person ready for that agent? Make that kid ready.
Training,
Okay.
the discipline.
But you didn't train ahead of time. You went
Yes, I
boom,
did.
kazam.
No, I was training. I've been training all
Since
my
you
life.
was at Dickinson. I mean,
I've been training. I mean, when I was at Compton College, I was training. You know, theater
That's
is like
true.
martial arts.
Yeah.
You know, a martial artist is always going to be training.
Working on. You should be practicing on your art.
Actors are always training. Dancers are
That's
always
very
training.
true. We are always
You know,
working.
I'll find myself in a class probably in the summer for about 3 weeks. You know, just comedians. They use comedy clubs to.
Yes.
That's their gym.
What about improv? Do you like to do that
Oh,
sometimes?
I love it. That's the root. That's where you if you don't know how to improv and something goes wrong in a script live in front of an audience, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be that little kid in the 6th grade,
Yeah.
frozen.
I remember
Wait
those
for someone to
days.
throw you the line.
I think the biggest thing that, and I think, Lori, you taught me that when we was on stage. Lori's directed me before, and you said Sissy, nobody knows that wasn't supposed to be said at that moment. Only us on this stage know that. So if you get caught up, you just keep going. You just keep going. I think that's one of the most important things.
If you know the character, if you know the story, if you're very in tune with your character, and again, it goes back to the training that I've had. Somebody broke a vase.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, I went backstage, grabbed the broom and a dustpan. And from backstage, I was saying my line because I wasn't backstage. I was in the kitchen.
Okay.
And people came back to see the show again, waiting for the vase to break.
Yep.
No, it was a mistake.
Fluke. Yeah.
It was so real.
I remember that.
Yeah, we
That's
have a
the
case
beauty
of
of live
vases.
theater.
We have a case of vases.
So
We're gonna
hard.
break one every show.
Yeah, now you got to incorporate it to the script, man. I love theaters
It
because
happens.
you own, never off. Oh, and once you own, you own. You can't stop.
No.
That runtime must be what it is. The show must go on.
It is.
I love so much with theater. But ladies and gentlemen, we have made a show. We are
have.
successful, Mr. Reynoso.
I hope everybody stayed tuned.
Of course. Yes, we had a great time. And it's forever archived, as my mentor, Mr. Kevin Nash, says. So we've got it on our YouTube channel. We've got it on an Accelerated Radio app. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to thank you guys for inviting me again, and
See you back here. And then I get to come to your space.
yes, you got to come to our. Then let the kids interview you,
I would love that.
That would be great.
or have a couple of them come over so they can go.
We're
back
gonna do
and
it
tell
all.
the story.
You want to do both.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Great
Rashid.
times. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great show.
Bye bye,
Thank you so much.
everybody.
Good night. Thank you.